The Chargers face a trap game in Dallas this morning. After burning through multiple special teams players, the Rams finally figure out it might have been the special teams coach. And USC seems resigned to the fact that D'Anton Lynn could leave. Good morning. I'm James. And this is your daily dose of sports and snark for the greatest sports city in the world, Los Angeles. This is the Faithful Angelenos Morning Report. It is December 21st, 2025. It is also Sunday, the Lord's Day. So if you believe as I do, take a moment. Thank Him for the blessings that you have in your life, like LA Sports. And if you like being in the know about LA Sports, click-clack the like button. Click-clack the subscribe button. There is a notification bell. Hit that. It'll let you know when we drop an update. Sharing is caring. Let people know we exist. By all means, comment. Now, we have an expanded look at the scoreboard because of the fact that it's football season. Starting with last night when the Clippers beat down the Lakers 103-88. Look, if you're a Laker fan, I wouldn't sweat it that much. 3 starters were out due to injury. And then during the game, Luka Doncic went out. So it was basically LeBron James and 4 randos. It makes sense. On to the next. Meanwhile, today, the Chargers are at Dallas at 10 a.m. A win clinches a Bolts playoff berth. But I have a gut feeling the Chargers are not going to perform well this morning. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot not to like about Dallas. For example, they were eliminated last night. They could show up breathing fire with something to prove. They could just roll over and take a 3-hour nap. It could go either way. Their pass defense needs church. It's so bad. Hell, if I were offensive coordinator Greg Roman, I would strongly consider testing how much Justin Herbert's hand is healed. Can you make all the throws in a game situation, because we are going to need you when the playoffs kick off? But there are multiple factors that also suggest the Chargers look past this game. Yeah, you could clinch the playoffs today. They already have a 90% chance of going in. Early start to the road game always equals a poor first half. It's also back-to-back road games. The second of those road games is always difficult. Not to mention the possibility of a mental letdown because they had already eliminated Kansas City last week. Does that really sound like the Chargers are going to have laser-like focus today? Because it doesn't to me. I have an odd feeling this is going to be a shootout. Dallas is 4th in the league in points scored per game, but they're also the 4th worst defense in the league and the worst pass defense. Activating corner Trayvon Diggs is not going to help them that much. And I could give you, here's the thing that really weirds me out about this game. I can give you a ton of negative points about Dallas and about the Chargers. Way more negative points than I can actually build a positive case for either one to win. That's what makes me nervous about this pick. My gut feeling is to take Dallas. But it ain't that strong of a gut feeling. I'll tell you that. Also today, UC Santa Cruz is at USC basketball at 4. The Trojans were looking to add anybody to the schedule. They had canceled a game against Brown. You probably watched the news. You knew things weren't going great over at Brown this week. So with that out of the way, what do you say we get to the news? The Rams have chosen their scapegoat. Not just from Thursday's loss in Seattle, but as many as 3 losses this year. And that scapegoat got fired. Special teams coach Chase Blackburn. Now, to be fair, I'd be lying to you if I said I knew all the ins and outs of effective special teams play. You can go to Barnes & Noble, you can go to the library, and you'll see books on how to run all kinds of offenses, right? You'll see books on how to scheme a football defense. I have never seen a book on how to call special teams. If there was a book on effective special teams, it would probably be titled Kick It There, Dumbass. All we want to see is the ball going through the uprights, right? Maybe opposing returners eating synthetic turf relatively quickly. That would be a plus. That has not happened during Blackburn's 3-year stay in LA. Do you remember the Philly game this year? Multiple blocked kicks against the Rams. If any of them were successful, it would have cemented the Rams as the team to beat in the NFC. What about a blocked kick against Scum Francisco that gave the Niners enough life to win in overtime? Not to mention Harrison Mevis's missed kick and a punt return allowed up in Seattle. All of these games would have cemented the Rams as the team to beat in the NFC. And they all flutter by the wayside due to special teams breakdowns. Blackburn has gone through at least 4 kickers in his tenure. This year alone, he went through 2 long snappers. And before you point at a kicker and say it's all the kicker's fault for missing the field goals, is it fair to ask that if the Rams line held up just a little bit in those field goal situations, maybe the kickers don't get rushed and start kicking the ball wide? Is it possible you get the yips as a kicker because you know there's a pretty good chance your kick is going to get blocked? Oh, I got to keep this thing from getting blocked. Bang, get it the hell out of there. Hopefully it goes in. You can't say Blackburn wasn't warned. After barely beating the Saints, Sean McVay said special teams faux pas can't continue. How bad was this performance? McVay has never fired an assistant coach during a season. You really have to suck for Sean McVay to do this. These ain't the days when McVay was new to the head coaching game and he had John Fassel making all these crazy plays on on special teams. Fake punts, all these great plays that were going down. Now Ben Kotwicka takes over. And I'd be lying if I said I knew if Kotwicka was any good. You tell me, who is the Bill Walsh or the Wade Phillips of special teams coordinators? Exactly. But the Rams made a change, and I can't say I blame them. Let me know what you think in the comments thread. Lincoln Riley seems to accept that D'Anton Lynn might leave as USC defensive coordinator. We think this is true because he went out to the press and said, D'Anton's done a really good job and we'll see how it plays out, unquote. Is that not a tacit admission that Lynn is talking to Penn State? Now, to be frank, the fact that Lynn hasn't faced the press in a week strongly suggests to me that he's not just talking to the Nittany Lions, he's negotiating. Go through the years where I've been doing this program. I think it would be fair to say that I'm either a Riley apologist or a USC apologist. I don't think I am, but if you accused me of being that, I'm not going to complain that much. When they lose games, certainly when they lose players to the transfer portal, we don't whine about it here. But I will have to apologize for Riley once again, because if Riley is sitting there thinking, dude, D'Anton, either poop or get off the pot, I can't say I blame him. Because what else could Lincoln Riley and the Trojans give to this guy? When they lured Lynn away from UCLA, they paid him $2 million per year, which made him one of college football's highest paid coordinators. He got a raise from that amount earlier this year. Then the Trojans build a monster of a recruiting program that led to the top high school class in the nation. And what does Lynn produce with all this largesse? Remember, he had a top 10 defense over with the Bruins. So with all this largesse, all the resources that UCLA does not have, Lynn produced a defense that was kind of mid. Now, that's not to disrespect Lynn as much as it is to trash his predecessor, Alex Grinch. Grinch's defense was an atrocity. Lynn's was mid. So it was better, but it damn sure wasn't elite. So again, Riley goes out, he's talking to the scribes, and he says, quote, "We're honestly at that point where, if there is turnover, these are really coveted jobs. And this job, frankly, is a lot different than it was 4 years ago. Hopefully, we can keep as much continuity as we can, but if we do have to make any replacements, then we're going to try to do what we've done," unquote. In other words, Riley ain't tripping. And why is he not tripping? Because with that money, with the recruiting, with all the resources that USC is putting into the football program, he can hire pretty much whoever the hell he wants. Now, having said that, I hope that means he does not promote from within, particularly linebackers coach Rob Ryan. Oh, don't get me wrong, promoting Ryan would be an easy sell to the recruits and a fan base. All you have to do is say the guy was a defensive coordinator in the NFL. That's going to impress people. But here's the thing. He was a lousy defensive coordinator in the NFL. Just ask the Raiders, the Cowboys, the Browns, and the Saints. Woefully poor as a defensive coordinator. So, for all we know, Lynn could leave any day now. We'll just have to wait and see. Is it just me, or is players giving the finger now the hip thing to do in pro sports? See, in my own narcissism, I like to think it's a trend that started with me. People have been giving me the finger for decades, and I get it. My day isn't complete until I find that somebody has manicured their middle finger just to stick it in my face. But you see it a lot more now. Players for all kinds of teams, flipping off the fans, flipping off their opponents. The Lakers' Marcus Smart was fined $35,000 for letting a ref have a middle finger during the Jazz game on Thursday. Now, I would say targeting a ref for the middle finger, well, that's an upgrade, because he previously did it to a fan in 2017. At least you're doing it to somebody else in the NBA family this time. The Dodgers have been hit with a record $169 million luxury tax, and I don't care. I don't care because they don't care. I don't care to hear anybody complain about the Dodgers ruining baseball either, because that fine could fund the payroll of 11 teams. You can complain as a fan all you want, but let me tell you something, Bjorn. Your team's owner, who already has generational wealth, I might add, looks forward to that Dodger check like a welfare mom. So who we kidding? Who we kidding? I don't care. The Dodgers also added catcher Chucky Robinson and pitcher Carlos Duran to minor league deals. So they'll be jumping back and forth between LA and the Midwest manure pit in 2026. Elijah Arenas practiced with the USC basketball team for the first time yesterday. Finally, a sense of normalcy for this kid after 8 months of unrelenting drama. You might recall he crashed a Tesla during the summer and had to be pulled from the vehicle when it burst into flame. Then he was put into a medical coma, survived. Then, even though he survived that, his knee was like, hold my beer. Of course, if knees could speak. And even an underage athlete is like, yeah, I'll let you hold my beer. Whatever. I'm just trying to say that it's nice to see the kid actually get a little bit of normalcy for the holidays. Recall, Arenas was a 5-star recruit. He was expected to be an immediate starter. Moreover, USC has lost its second leading scorer, guard Rodney Rice, for the year with a shoulder injury recently. Trojan's schedule is not that severe for the rest of 2025. But the Big Ten Conference kicks off in earnest as soon as the calendar turns over to January. They're going to need Elijah Arenas to adjust quickly. But you let me know what you think in the comments thread. Talk to me, for example, about if you think the Chargers can win multiple road games in a row, or for that matter, if the Rams made the right call by changing up the coaching staff. And if you enjoyed this update, don't forget to subscribe to Faithful Angelenos. We're talking LA sports every single day. Thank you for watching. I'm James, and we'll be back tomorrow. Faithful Angelenos is a Kian Corte El Queso production. Take care.